There we go.
Oh.
Here we go.
Testing, testing. Uno,
That doesn't.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, what
Start
the-
over again, Sean. Sorry.
I'm not going to start over again, but can I see someone in chat say we have audio?
We do. I heard it from somebody's
Yeah, I heard it
mic
too,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
Amazing Spider-Man #7, Hellfire Gala #1, or Hellfire Vigil, excuse me.
well,
Oh, it's a vigil. All right.
Ultimate Wolverine #7, Absolute Green Lantern #4. How many books is this? Jesus Christ. And Resurrection Man Quantum Karma #4. That's the docket for today. To have the conversation about those books, we've got Cale.
What's up? Hot dogs.
We've got Marco.
cheers to Krakoa.
We have Tyler.
What's Krakoa? I totally forgot. What is that? I thought we were just doing X-Men stuff.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
And I'm Sean. Thank you for being here. Whether you are live or in the future, make sure you smash that like
Smash.
button. If you enjoy what we do, we recently got over 5,300 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you. Let's keep that going. Hoping to hit 6K here real soon. And only you guys can make that happen. But you're not here to hear me plug. You're here to hear us talk about comics. So let's get into Captain America #1. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Valerio Schiti. Colors by the incomparable Frank Martin and letters by Joe Caramagna. Now, there were many people who came into this issue surprised by the fact that it takes place in the past. It is very much a Captain America, at least the opening salvo, very much a Captain America sort of year one-esque type book, but not year one for his initial stint during World War II. It's sort of a year one of Captain America post-ice. And by ice, in this case, I mean being frozen within the ice.
Oh, okay.
This
was
isn't
like,
this isn't the Coates run anymore.
I was like, I didn't read that part. Wait a second.
That's a separate book. What did you guys make of this?
I guess I'll kick it off. This was my pick of the week, actually. I had one hurdle on this book, and that's the timing of it. The timeline. As soon as it got into like, oh, Stark Phone is out, I'm like, oh, Stark Phone, wasn't that like Dan Slott's run? And it's like, oh no, Steve's just out of the ice. I had to kind of rejigger my brain to know Marvel's like, okay, it's a sliding time scale. This is not whenever the Avengers first formed, which would have been like the 60s, right? 70s. I had to kind of get myself out of that. Once I realized, okay, this is Steve fresh out of the ice right after he sort of joined the Avengers, so he's not like fresh out of the ice. And then there's simultaneously this Captain America story going on in the background during like a post 9/11 Cap that we didn't know about. I was like, oh, this is classic Cap. The amount of Captain America stories out there that deal with the Cap we didn't know about during a war, that's a classic Cap move. And I was like, okay, I'm interested to see where Chip takes this.
Well, I think the thing about that is that I think we're seeing the sliding time scale at work.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What I mean by that is I think this, post 9/11 story, I think the idea here is that's when Cap was unfrozen. That's when the Avengers first got together.
Interesting. I didn't go that deep into it in terms of like trying to date the book, but I at least knew like, all right, cell phones existed. So I guess that would track then, Cale.
But for me, I think I'm with you. I think that was the most interesting part of the book.
Yeah.
Is this book is actually like we're seeing it retrofit the Marvel universe into the 21st century. I found that really interesting because I think we're in the past 20 years have been, well, coming up on 30 years, have been a really interesting era for Captain America, but also real world politics. And we've seen that, through Ed Brubaker's run and through obviously real world politics, but we've seen bits of it reflected in Captain America books. But I feel like this is really the first time that the Marvel stamp is being put on. Nah, y'all are old now. We need to move up.
And I think it helps the writer be able, like helps Chip write a pretty compelling narrative throughout this. Like the idea, like previously, we've only gotten Steve reacting to, the Iraq War and post 9/11. The idea that there was another Cap who maybe isn't Steve, who was the Cap during that time, is interesting to me. And especially in in a modern lens, we can really, in the year 2025, look upon that time in a historical sense. How a Canadian's going to handle that, who knows? But this was really interesting to me.
Um, I had fun with this. I enjoyed it, and this was also my pick of the week. I did not expect that. I I think to the things that you guys are talking about, I fully agreed. And but the thing that because of the sliding time scale and the introduction of this new cap, one of the thought things that I was thinking about that for a second took me out of the book was, well, what happens when we celebrate, the 100 years of Cap being around? Then what happens at the 150? Like, is this an attempt at modernizing Captain America in the context of a conflict, and that is a way to answer the question of a perpetual Cap? I started kind of just like extrapolating on this. But for the context of the book itself, the construction, I thought that what Chip was able to do with the narrative was uh, one, as we had these two kind of run parallel, it did make it very compelling because I could feel the desire and the parallels to uh, a young Steve Rogers, and I think that translates, that can continue to translate as years go on, as conflict is ever perpetual. So I think there was something interesting that Chip was saying here as well about the idea of conflict and how it continues to go year on year and decade over decade and war over war. I'm interested to hear what he has to say about that, if that is an angle that he goes down.
This was my pick of the week, but I was frustrated. Um, the sliding time scale thing, just I don't like it. And this is the first time that I've read a Marvel book where it was very clear what was going on with that. And I don't think it worked at all because I've read a lot of Captain America comics that have been produced over the past 20 years. And I don't understand how you can square the fact that 9/11 was only just under 25 years ago and Cap was there and those comics exist, and this don't make no sense. This essentially invalidates all of the Captain America stories that came before this because they don't line up now.
They just needed to make sure they retcon Doctor Doom ever crying. That's all this is. You can't have him crying before the Robert Downey Jr. comes into the role. Come on.
Entertain me gifting 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much, dude. Keeping the train going from this past Saturday. That was crazy. I don't know how many of you were there for that, but we added a whole bunch of channel members Saturday. So thank you.
There's a shout out to Kyutsu, Jamie Marrero, Raymond Schwartz, Derek CA, and Sanji. Congratulations, Sanji. I hope you use this gifted membership to cook a great meal.
Enjoy that, guys. Thank you so much to entertain me. Yeah, I was really frustrated by that, but looking past that fact, there's a lot of really good stuff here that I enjoyed
Yeah.
so much. Getting to see Chip write the Fantastic Four, them being in the mix, that scene with Reed where he fixes his face to make himself look different so that he wouldn't be recognized. That was really smart. And somehow that's the first time I've ever seen that done with Reed.
That was like, oh, where's Chip's Fantastic Four? Let me read that. I mean, did he do Life Story?
No, that was Mark Russell, but he
That was Mark
did
Russell, yeah.
the Marvel 2-in-1.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what he did. Yeah, I was like, oh, but Reed wasn't in that, so this was new for me. I was like, oh hell yeah, I want to see what Chip does there. Yeah, that was great. And I liked how it contextualized Cap in a way to what was happening in the Marvel. Like this is the Fantastic Four's first mission. You know, it's right after that. It's the Mole Man mission,
Yeah.
which I guess happens post 9/11 as well. Man, I can't think about that too much. I start spiraling. But yeah, I'm glad. I think it sounds like you and I kind of came out this the same way, Sean. Where it's like once I got past that, there's a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, Chip's voice for Cap is really strong. Avengers Twilight was so good. I enjoyed it immensely. And so I never had any questions about whether or not this would play because he gets Cap. There's just no doubt in my mind that Chip gets Cap. It's just a matter of like when he has to do it in continuity, in the moment in time, how is he going to handle that? And this doesn't answer that question exactly because this is again in the past. And it's Cap and Doom, who I am so tired of, that being Doctor Doom. But when you talk about the script and you talk about the art, this was just hit after hit after hit, every page.
The art was very strong. This
Yeah.
like it felt at times especially the flashback scenes with the kid. I like the kind of like haze we get over these things. It makes these things feel nostalgic. I thought the thick lines across everybody just helped to keep the figures really strong and consistent. Yeah, super strong overall. Hold on, one of my favorite panels, that place in Times Square.
Yep. Yeah, being a New
Yeah.
Yorker, I was pinpointing
Yeah.
each and every parts of this book. Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, Valerio Schiti is one of the best artists that Marvel has, and pairing him with the legendary Frank Martin on colors, they go together really, really nicely. I mean, I thought this was a great page. The Cap on
Yeah.
the bike, the first page of that, where you get the two panels there, really beautiful stuff. Um, just a gorgeous comic book. You can't beat art like this.
Don't
Ye-
want to.
I mean, I've been a Sheedy head for years now, and I'm glad to see him like on like a. This is a big book. Like Marvel kind of made news about this when it was announced, so it's cool to kind of see him tackling a good solo run of a really important character. The bit that got me here was the running theme of the Cap's letters home. So throughout it, the what's his name, Danny, the 9/11 Cap. That sounds so weird saying that.
It was Colton or something, right? That was his last name?
His
Yeah,
last name was
Colton.
Colton. Yeah, but what that
Colton,
guy? So
yeah.
he's a kid that sees 9/11 happen, and he's kind of that brings him to want to be fighting for the U.S. and stuff like that. But throughout it, he's reading Captain America's letters home in his diary, essentially. And then once Steve is unfrosted, he goes to a museum and he sees that this has been something that was published while he was frozen. And all these private things and these letters and kind of his private musings are public now. And in a way, it's kind of grown beyond him, and how the idea of him and who he is not really him. It's now become myth, and it's become something that he doesn't have any control over. And seeing how that can then skew in a way to this other Cap who might be a little more hard edged and might have done things that are pretty bad. I think that's really interesting to see what that dynamic's going to be once we get to see those two interact.
It's
I like
interesting.
that. Go ahead, Marco.
Sorry, it's interesting you took that as like hard edge. I took it as, especially at the beginning, like he's here to be a soldier. Like he's here to follow the rules. He's here to do what needs to get done. Um, I'm curious to see how that ends up playing out, especially in the context of toppling a regime. Is he's going to be a good soldier? That's what Cap would have done, you know. So is he deviating from that mission? I don't know. Good questions to be posed.
The reason why I'm sort of cool on that is because I feel like we've seen that so many times.
Recently.
Yeah, like so many times. And the idea of a person dressing as Cap, becoming Cap or whatever, who doesn't have Cap's same sense of morality or his code or whatever is played out. And putting that person in, the scope of 9/11 and having them be someone who was galvanized by that to want to be a soldier. We know about the war crimes committed by a lot of the soldiers who were present at that time. So presumably this guy is not going to be a great guy. And that's cool, but again, it's something we've seen so many times that unless Chip has a way different road to go down, I don't really care that much.
Was Cap on the Howling Commandos?
Yeah.
He partnered with them, and he was with them with Fury. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think the what interests me about that angle is how topical that is right now. It might not have been quite as topical when Chip was writing this, but like the fact that it's being released right now, I think is really interesting, and maybe it won't play out to be anything, you know, that topical, pressing forward. But I really reading this took me places, and that was really exciting to me.
I hope that when we do get into the present day story, which I believe it's 6 issues in the past, and then we're jumping into the present after. I hope that we can see how the establishing that he's doing here pays off down the road. I don't want this new kid, David, to be defeated in these issues. I think if Chip's going to have a decently long run, let's build this character up. Let's do something with him. Let's establish a new villain for Cap who can really be compelling, because I'm quite frankly tired of the Red Skull every time. So, pick of the week. Good stuff. Good start. Now let's see what Chip has to say here.
Sean, did yours have a printing error by chance?
What did you notice? Because I didn't notice anything.
Mine just had like a big stain across the top of it here. Just like black.
Oh, that's probably just a per issue thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like your ink got screwed.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that. You know what that probably is, Marco? That probably is because of the LCS that you go to.
Yeah. Like, wait. Save that one save that copy for this guy.
It kind of looks like a lick stain. Somebody licked it, it looks like.
I didn't get that in mine.
Oh.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Okay.
And thank you to Matt Fisher for the 2 199s. One saying Rick Colton, and then one saying David Colton. Like I said, yeah, you said David Colton twice. Yeah, thanks. Thanks,
I saw it. Yeah. I was there.
Yeah.
Pick of the week.
Easily, yeah. I will say, not the strongest week.
I think this was also my pick of the week.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
Unanimous Captain America pick. Look at us. Look at us, Patriots.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And we're not just doing this because it's July 3rd. We're doing this because this is the best book this week.
Yeah.
The biggest, most beautiful book.
And if there's one thing I celebrate tomorrow, it's Cale's birthday. That's the only thing I'm celebrating. Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
The real Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, you are a gingerish. You're a little ginger there, Cale. So could you be this other Cap?
No,
Okay, all right.
I'm the good one.
Okay, cool.
Steve Rogers.
No, not Steve Rogers, the good one.
Oh, okay.
U.S. agent.
Chris Evans.
America's ass. Matt Fisher followed up with another 199. My X-Men 10 140.5 had a printing error. It read 104.5.
Wait, what's 140.5? Is that Claremont thing that came out this week?
The results of the poll, 45% say pull, 22% say pick of the week, 19% say didn't buy or read, and pass is 12%.
Nice.
Largely, you guys are into it.
Cool. Look at you guys
awesome.
becoming Marvel heads.
Awesome.
Well, it's number one from the Batman writer. Like,
let's see. I know we got some interesting comments. Keeping it raw. What's up, dude? Says you can't keep the characters in the past, never aging, and expect things to work. They have to change. I assume you're referring to the sliding time scale of it all. Marvel's done that forever. That's just a part of their thing. This is the first time that I have read a book where it was like, whoa, this is really happening in real time.
Usually their barometer is Punisher and what war he was in.
yeah.
Or like Nick Fury.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It means a lot of things, though. Like, it means that Captain America was frozen for a very, very long time. Not just the 30 years or whatever it was before. Now we're talking about, like, 70 years, something like that.
Dude missed out on multiple wars, was not around for the civil rights movement. Like,
but that, like, Marvel's going to have to resolve that because that invalidates countless comics where Captain America appears during those times. I have no idea what they're going to do about that. Probably nothing.
I think the option is nothing. Yeah.
It also eliminates the possibility of telling more stories with Cap during those time frames. Now, the only times you can tell Cap stories are during World War II or from 2001 on. That's very interesting.
Or you just don't think about it and just tell the stories.
Do it anyway. Yeah.
But does that mean that the Mole Man situation happened in past 2001?
That's kind of what it's implying. Yeah.
It means it happened in 2001 or thereabouts. Yeah.
We could be reading this wrong altogether.
Yeah.
Like that's how I read it. And clearly we all got some sense of that. There's a chance like it was pretty unclear.
We'll see if they resolve that because I read that a little different.
How did you read it?
I thought that he just came up alongside. I thought he was going to be like the new Cap. I thought he was going to be like a sidekick Cap that was running in parallel.
That's kind of how I read it too. The only thing the whole Stark phone mention is what confused me. But the way I read it was Steve came out of the ice the same time he normally comes out of the ice. But we're also telling the story about this other Cap they had going around during the Iraq War.
Yeah, it was like
and
future
now,
and past.
Now there's a modern story where he's a Howling Commando, and they bring that Cap in as well, who's still around.
Hold on, because you introduced the sliding time scale to the conversation. So are you saying you don't think it is that, or what are you saying now?
I'm saying I'm confused, but how I originally read it was it being its original time, but then once Cale mentioned it, I was like, okay, maybe it is a sliding time scale thing. Either way, there is a modernization of classic time period here, no matter what, in terms of technology, in terms of clothing. Can I date it exactly? I don't know.
All right, chat. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about today. So there you go.
How can we?
Either way, hopefully we get clarity down the road on this. But yeah, confusing. confusing. Comics are dope. What's up, BJ? BJ says Steve had a memoir that was narrating his origin, juxtaposed with scenes of new Cap being born. Did I misread this book? My takeaway was that the new post 9/11 Cap was inspired by OG Cap.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. Marvel's refusal to put sort of dates on things that we're seeing adds to the level of confusion, very obviously.
Yeah.
David
I guess
Font
yeah,
here.
please.
David Font here says Villiers Sheety said this is happening in the 2010s.
What?
So Holton stuff is a flashback to post 9/11 when
Yes.
Cap would have still been
In
frozen.
the ice, right?
The action, the present in this book is 2010s, a month after he's out of the ice or whatever.
So he was unfrozen in the tens? That means the Avengers formed in the tens? Fuck that.
That means he. Hold on.
Look at Iron Man's armor. In 2010, he had already had Extremis. There's no fucking way.
No,
Gotta
that
start
all.
somewhere.
This is like a New 52 Robin situation. Iron Man had a lot of suits within 5 months.
Yeah,
Is this issue like a retcon of Marvel?
probably.
I think the only thing we can do is not think about it.
Look who's talking!
As David Font gave that clarity there, I'm gonna stop thinking about it. I'm just gonna read the book for what it is.
Yeah, I'm actually just putting this comic book down. Not going to.
It's Marvel Black
consider-
Label in my eyes.
Not going to consider its implications anymore, and they can go fuck themselves with that. John B, this is why it feels like an alternate Earth and not 616. Completely agreed, and they should really, really tread more carefully with comics like this. Unless it's a deliberate act that they plan on explaining.
Even the Iron Man suit, it was like a modern version of his first suit or his first red and gold.
Yep.
I was like, ooh, that's not a suit I've seen before. Or that is a mixture of multiple suits. Interesting.
Boy.
All right. Thank you guys for being here with us. We appreciate you. We've got more than enough books to come to keep you guys hopefully entertained. MX Mothman says that's how the sliding time scale works. Everything happens within the past like 13 to 15 years, I think. Yeah, and I think it sucks. So there you go.
History don't work like that.
Mine does.
Hey, yeah, it does. Sorry.
The Amazing Spider-Man #7 is up next. Writer Joe Kelly, John Romita Jr. replacing Pepe Larraz. Hopefully, Romita does enough good to satisfy all of us. Scott Hanna on the inks, Marcio Menes and Eric Arsenega on the colors, Joe Caramagna on the letters. So, Spider-Man and Black Cat are doing battle with Hellgate. And that is largely what this issue is. It's very, very, very much, and I mean this in the best way possible, very much reminiscent of the Spider-Man versus Juggernaut first encounter from way back in the day. If you have read that, you'll definitely be reminded of it with this. It's Spider-Man trying every trick in the book to defeat Hellgate and absolutely none of them working, and him sort of realizing by the end of this, like, well, guess I'm fucked. And that's the issue. Marco, how'd you feel about this one?
A little more down, just because I think the previous arc had more heartfelt moments and pieces of like emotional tension kind of interspersed with the action. This was just straight up, I gotta fight, I gotta throw a punch, you know. I did enjoy this bit. Hope you enjoyed that refreshing taste of Sucker Punch. Great. So the writing is keeping me going. The little comments here and there, I think some of the little dynamics that we get, but I I can't get behind the art, man. There was a distinct moment where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's feels like JRJR is putting real effort in the first upfront pages. You know, I'm in, I'm good. I thought last issue was a great introduction, and then I'll tell you the exact page. This sequence, and I just went, oof. I don't know, man. Something
What
about
was
this. Sorry.
what? Can you hand that up again?
Yeah.
Can you explain what you didn't like about it as we
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
it?
So, for whatever reason, it felt like the inks on the outlines got thicker than were in previous moments, and we got less, I think, uh, variety and in the shading, like compared to this moment. And so, like it felt flatter, and that flatness is where I started to really struggle with some of these pages, um, as it felt for me. So yeah, this one, I'm I was definitely more down on, but not out because Joe Kelly's earned my trust in this short amount of time.
If I could just quickly jump in to point out that what you're noticing could be the result. I don't know, but it could be the result of there being two colorists a part of the book.
Mm, okay.
That is that particular part does look quite different from
Yeah,
uh the other half.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Um, Eric Arciniega potentially as opposed to Marcio Meniz. So yeah, but that was in particular. I turned this page. I was like, "Whoa, what just happened?"
Yeah, I've been an apologist for JRJR's Spider-Man for a long time. That's where I got my bread and butter on Amazing Spider-Man. Uh I don't think I can hack it anymore. I just I really enjoyed this, and I didn't read the last issue. I enjoyed the the writing, and I really think that there was some really neat, interesting stuff here, and I love it when Spider-Man is outmatched by these massive otherworldly foes. But man, I could not get into this art at all. Um, I just like it feels bad.
And I feel like Kelly's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Because his script is tight. It's
Yeah.
just the way that it's presented visually.
Yeah, to me, this felt like kind of classic Spider-Man. Like, I'm talking like 80s Spider-Man. Like, there's just this villain, Spider-Man's getting his ass kicked, he's running away. It's a Romita drawing it, you know? This felt like a Spider-Man issue I would have picked out of my dad's collection, not to date any of the other listeners out there who might have their own copies of it. But that's kind of what it felt like, Sean, when you mentioned like the Juggernaut fight. Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it doesn't feel like the previous arc. It does feel like something wildly different, but also very Spider-Man. I enjoyed it. I Romita's art works better for me in Spider-Man when it's more close combat, and I think this was a little too big for Romita. Like there's too much, like the amount of times where Hellgate is just using his thruster boots just to jump, and he's just a block of a person, is multiple times throughout this. The Spider-Man's webs just, they look like the webs they would sell in those spray cans when the new Spider-Man movie came out in the 2000s. And when he shoots off those the web canisters, those are just vapes, like like those things are just vape carts. And yeah, I don't know. I still enjoyed it. I thought this was a fun issue. It didn't blow my socks off, but it did kind of harken back to like an issue of Spider-Man I might have just like breezed through and looked through, in like a back issue or something. It doesn't feel like 2025 Spider-Man, but I didn't dislike it. Oh, Marco,
is?
bring up that page. Actually, yeah, is that when Spider-Man gets? Oh yeah, that's the Web Blaster card. Look at those. Those are vapes. Come on.
Dude, look at the little scrawny ass legs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ramita has draw some scrawny legs. Marco, can you bring over the other 2-pager where Hellgate hits? It's earlier on in the book where Hellgate hits Spider-Man with that like Doctor Strange kind of thing. Yeah.
That was
So
cool.
Spider-Man gets launched through a car window windshield. Can you bring the book up a little bit more, Marco, just so I can get it in my frame? Up, up, up. There you go. All right. So in that last panel, Ramita just draws broken glass like it's paper, like it's just laying on Spider-Man, and it looks bad, but it's charming. Do you know what I mean? Like it is clearly Ramita. Like if anyone else did that, I'd be like, that doesn't look good. Ramita does it, and I'm like, no, that's Ramita, and I'm cool with it.
I wondered if it was a brush actually.
What like you just pasted. Here's my broken glass effect over it.
Yeah, like a brush or something. I thought.
I'm pretty sure he does everything traditionally still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I take it back.
I love this issue. I thought it was awesome. This is, just cool, just a cool fight between Spider-Man and somebody who is bigger and stronger than him. I had way more problems with the script than I did the art. I thought this was some of the best junior stuff we've gotten in a while, actually. I thought that some of the jokes that Joe Kelly wrote for Spider-Man were just straight up like dumb. Like not funny and corny and dumb. And so that bothered me. But, what are you gonna do? Overall, I really, really like the fact that now Spider-Man has this enemy that he probably can't beat. And we're gonna have to see how he's gonna handle this. He even breaks out new abilities, which I thought was super cool. I mean, not new abilities, but like new ways to use his web shooters and stuff like that. Like I loved all that. And I like the idea that Hellgate is just this beast who will not stop coming. He's relentless. And so to that point, I was kind of bothered by how like unserious Spider-Man is at the beginning. And I understand that's Spider-Man's MO, but Hellgate kills people. And Spider-Man's biggest thing is like no one should die. Like I'll do anything I can to prevent death. And so when Hellgate kills those people, Spider-Man doesn't really have like a visceral reaction, and that really bothered me because that just felt out of character. But everything else, I pretty much loved.
That jumped out to me too, Sean. The whole bit where he doesn't like immediately hit Hellgate as hard as he can.
Yeah,
He
that just rang false.
He gets mollywopped right after because he's like you don't kill people to get someone's attention, psycho, and then it seems like he's about to before freaking or he jumps at him before he gets hit with the wump.
I hear you, but like he just killed someone. He just killed multiple people, and Spider-Man's like, "You don't do that, you psycho."
You're a bully.
Shut up and punch him. Yeah, that's just lame.
He stole my lunch money.
This should send you into a real tizzy then, Mr. Sensitive. Like, that's after he already bodied multiple people.
Well, I want to hear more of this Sean voice. Hold on a second.
No, it made my skin crawl, actually. Can I just shout out one panel real quick throughout this? I have it up on the screen. It's Black Cat with 2 machine guns. It's the stupidest thing ever. Like, I don't even think I've ever seen Black Cat use guns like that. But I was like, okay, cool, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was sick. She just whipped out the Uzis or whatever. I was like, let's go. Oh man. Yeah, I'm a pull. I had a lot of concern about how I would feel about Ramita's art on this arc, but I love it. And Joe Kelly's still doing what he does.
And are we to guess that whatever Hellgate's axe does, because he mentioned like soul splitting, didn't he, in this issue? This is what will cause the 2 Spider-Man coming up, right?
It'll be as a result of this fight. So
okay.
Yeah. I'm a pass. I'll skip to the next thing.
You'll skip to when the Laraz art is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull to see what the next issue holds. I, I think Kelly and his script can save some of this book for me, but if it is not next issue, I might also skip this arc and wait for Laraz to come back.
It's a pull for me. Not the most enthusiastic pull, but it's a pull.
Well, chat was very, very solid in their opinions about this book. Didn't buy or read 42%. Pull 35%, pass is 22, and pick of the week is 0. So that means that 64% of you didn't read this and didn't like it or didn't even bother. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Look at that Bermejo variant, guys. You should be picking it up just for that. Like, come on.
That's fire. Damn, I didn't see that.
I forget what kind of variant it is. Man, Bermejo can do Black Cat for forever. Also like how he does the visible web shooters, you know?
I love that.
Yeah, he did that in last issue. There was a variant by Bermejo as well where he does the visible shooters, which is typically a Ben Reilly thing, I think. But yeah, no, it's cool.
Used to be. Yeah.
Matt Cosmo stopped in to say, hey, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. World at War Comics. What's up? That's a great channel that I enjoy as well. Said, I would love to see Cara Andrews on Amazing Spider-Man. I love Cara Andrews. I think his art is sick as hell. My only question is what kind of run could he go on? Just because I can't think of anything I've seen him do that was long term. But he's great. Tilo, Tyler calling it classic Spider-Man encapsulates my whole problem with Spidey. Every other character gets to try new and weird shit except for Spider-Man.
If only there was an alternate universe where they can play around with this other version of Spider-Man.
Or if only there were a story advertised and coming up very soon where something weird happens that's never happened before. Well, that's sort of never happened.
Multiple Spider-Man. That's just classic Spider-Man at this point.
Or what about the 60 years of Spider-Man history in which many weird things have happened to him? Off the top of my head, Spider-Man has been in space multiple times. He's been empowered with otherworldly space powers. He's been an actual spider. He's met countless variations of himself. I don't know, man. You said earlier you missed us bitching about USM, but I kind of think you're the one bitching. I don't know, dude.
Wait, Spider-Man isn't he only
Tilo said he missed us bitching about USM.
I didn't get to bitch about it last week, so I also didn't read it. But you know,
they didn't bet Spider-Man until after 2010.
Yeah, that's all Marvel Universe hasn't come out since then.
Yo, speaking of retcons, have you guys seen? I just saw this. Have you guys seen that Spider-Gwen is now officially taken over the Gwen Stacy position?
Oh yeah.
In that's wild.
I don't. Again, that's where like the Marvelness is breaking in my brain. Like Captain Stacy's just in the 616 now.
Yeah.
One of the driving factors of Spider-Man, like 616 Peter Parker's whole mythos and objective, is now just chilling, making coffee for his daughter.
It's okay.
Let alone his daughter. A massive anchor point in his story.
Do you think when that happened, 616 Norman Osborn's dick started twitching?
I don't like that.
You're the Sins Past fan.
You could have muted your mic before you said that one.
Nah.
Yeah, I'd rather you did. Let's move on. let's move on. Let's talk about the worst comic that came out this week. And that is Hellfire Vigil.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Speak
Yeah,
on
hey,
it,
huh?
Sean. Jeez.
Yeah, it sounds like you have an opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. And I am not going to read off the list of creators because it is very long. A lot of people contributed to this book, and everything that I'm about to say is not reflective of those people. This is reflective of the mentality at Marvel, the editorial at Marvel who decided that this was okay to publish. This is the most disappointing comic I have ever read, probably. It's full of shit. It's borderline nonsense more than once. There's more than one instance where I can't even necessarily tell you what is happening. So let me set the stage before I rant. This is a vigil that the mutants who survived, Krakoa, are holding for Krakoa. And so they decide they're going to get together at Central Park where that tree is still at, and they're going to dress up and they're going to sort of, celebrate or say goodbye to Krakoa in an official capacity or whatever. Some people don't want to go, like Cyclops and others, and some people are fine with it. That's great. If you expected that this book would have anything interesting to say about Krakoa, would have any shocking revelations about Krakoa, would drive forward the narrative of the stories that the X-Men have been telling in the aftermath of Krakoa, if you expected anything like that, you will be disappointed because there is nothing here for you at all. If you loved Krakoa, this is not for you. If you didn't read Krakoa, you won't fucking understand anything that's happening here. I do not know who this comic was printed for. None of these people, none of these writers worked on Krakoa, to my recollection. So why are they writing a comic book that's about it? They weren't there. Nothing in this comic made me feel anything in relationship to what came before as it relates to Krakoa. And I made a decision based on this comic right here. I am dropping X-Men. All X-Men books gone off my stack. That includes Uncanny and that includes Storm and Exceptional. I'm done. Marvel does not respect X-Men fans, so I am not putting my money. This was $8. I will not put my money behind the X-Men anymore unless something changes because this showed me that they don't give a fuck. They don't. And again, it's not the creators. I'm sure they all tried very hard. This is an impossible task, what they were given to do, but none of them rose to the occasion. Nobody.
What was even the task? Like that was that there was a point where I hit maybe a quarter of the way, like right after the Glob Herman bit where Beast is flirting with this other girl, and I'm just like, oh, the Colossus part. I'm like, what's going on? What are we doing? Wait, who cares?
Who cares?
So were there three different scenarios happening? Three different sort of locations where things were happening. There was the beginning with Kamala, which was like
It was New York.
the vigil,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The actual ceremony or whatever. And then there was a Dazzler concert
In Chicago.
which it also seemed like everybody else was going to. And then there was just like everything else, right?
So there was three locations. You have it right. The vigil, the actual somber ceremony was happening in New York. That's where they had the candles and all that. So like Captain America was in a frame. They had a Krakoa gate that they could just make for one night only.
Right.
That annoyed me. That would then go to Chicago where the party is happening. That's where Dazzler's doing the concert. Right. And the other stuff was Scott sulking in Alaska. And then Jean in space. I see the point of this issue. I read every single one of these X-Men books. This was the denouement. This is the end of that first season of the Fall of X, or From the Ashes. This is the finale to From the Ashes in a way. It's like the end of season 1 for all of these books. It has all the writers doing their characters and all that, kind of adding a tail end to it. You know, Sean Jeffrey Thorne, right, the writer.
Yep.
He gets to tell a little bit of Tank / Colossus that he didn't fully get to tackle in the end of X-Force. Jackson Lansing gets to kind of put a bow on the whole Miss Marvel side of things from NYX. Like, I see the point of this. Even like the Dazzler stuff, and Dazzler finished months ago. This kind of puts a little bow on it as well.
Dude, it said 2004 issue number 4. Sorry, 2024. Like that's
it finished like December or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was a mini, so it was still
Right.
from the Ashes, but it wasn't that long in the series. So like, I see the point of it. This is kind of like a jam session where they can kind of contextualize where things are for X-Men within this year post Krakoa. It's not a Krakoa story. It's the X-Men after Krakoa story. I think the gate thing kind of annoyed me. But I think it does make an attempt to be like, all right, we went through all this shitty stuff. It's been a year since we went through that. Where are we as humanity or mutanity? And I thought it was fine. I didn't like it. I see the point of it. I didn't make me as angry as it made you, Sean, but it's just fine. I'm like, I just caught up on, and I'll speak on it later. X-Men. I read all of Uncanny X-Men. I'm done with X-Force. Like, in my vacation, I caught up on a lot of shit. And I'm enjoying a lot of those books, actually. But this kind of just feels like it feels unnecessary. I'd rather those creators have more time and maybe another issue of their books to be able to tell this little bow to it. Like if you're not reading Dazzler, why do you care about this?
Well, and Marco, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, like, if this is meant to tie the ends together of the current run in the situation where we've gotten to X point a year after this, I would also imagine they would put a reason for me to go to those books, like point me in the direction of those books. I think what you're saying is fair insofar as what we're doing here is not a reset, but just like a temperature check on all the books. But then give me a reason to go find those books. It felt like these were carryover moments, if that's what the case is, that didn't feel confident in the line, and that was the part that for me got me, because I popped for the Exceptional X-Men kids. I was like, oh shit, cool, they're here, right? But it was 2 pages, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that, knowing that.
And it's also nothing extra that you don't get from reading Exceptional X-Men.
Sure.
Like, is this supposed to be like a sampler for maybe me wanting to then, like, oh, I'm not reading Exceptional X-Men. I'm reading X-Men and Uncanny. Oh, I like these kids. Do I want to pick that up? No, it doesn't even point you in that direction. You need to know that's the case. You need to know by looking at the credits page, and there's so much insider baseball that you need to know here for this to make sense as that being the vehicle for it.
But the other thing too is that these, I've got it open on the credits page here, just because that's where I left it, and like the pages are all so separate. Like, there's so many creators on this book, and each thing is so separate that it's not even like different stories being told with each creative team. They try to make it meld together, and you can't make heads or tails of what's actually happening.
Yeah, like X-Men is Jed McKay and Ethel Diaz. They're doing pages 6 through 8, 14 to 16, 46 to 51. Like, I know that because I'm reading those books. I understand, like, they're telling their narrative throughout those pages.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. The amount of times where I was reading and I'm like, wait, what the fuck is even happening right now? Like, what is this? It just felt like it feels disjointed. Like the old Hellfire
Badly.
Gala issues felt tight. Same amount of creators, but it was a narrative that flowed and was compelling and good. This is just it just feels like hodgepodge. It's a mess.
And those had impact in a direction for the rest of the books,
Those had a
right?
point.
I could track the progress of a single title, be like, oh, okay, cool, this is where they're at, sure, but this is where they're going, and this is the totality of the line. I don't know what this means for now the X-Men world. The end part was meant to do that, is we're gonna have a mutant only world in at the year 3000, but what does that mean for the line for all of this?
Who cares?
Genuinely.
Like if they can't even get like their story straight enough where it's all in one spot, why should I care about what you know what and how they're going to tell the next era of their story?
Jean coming to see Scott, fucking lame. Lame. Lame, lame, lame. She's in space wearing a dress.
You got to get ready.
She's wearing her Hellfire Gala dress as she flies through the cosmos.
Yeah, sometimes women get take a little while to get ready for a party.
She's been ready.
I didn't understand the whole mutants from hundreds of years ago tried colonizing space and they left crystals. I was like, you can't put crystals in Phoenix in space and not be McCran, first of all.
Is that happening in the book? Because that was a question. I thought, oh wow,
no.
okay, they're doing some. Okay.
What's happening in the book right now is like her sister came back and is apparently a mutant the whole time, and the White Hot Room is a thing. And that is not happening in the book. So that threw me off. Yeah, it's a weird one. Like the whole bit with Storm too. Like that feels like a major part of the Storm book. That should be in the Storm book.
Well, and like just wildly undercuts itself. She tells us in this actually really good moment, we see like her life, where she is blowing out candles in Egypt as a child, and then her mother dies, and then she recognizes that she, the earth is actually her mother, and then at the end she says, I'm going to be a mother. Wow, that genuinely could be huge. What a great moment. And then I turn the page and she's swearing at some pharmacist who shouts testicular fungus. Like, what the fuck?
I forgot that happened, actually, and I'm glad you reminded me, because that's the kind of horse shit that is in this comic that has no place anywhere. I do not get what is happening in this book. Don't waste a page at $7.99 with Storm yelling at a fucking receptionist or whatever at a store who's calling her out for what she's there for. That's corny and it's lame and it undercuts what this book is supposed to be. And you go from that. Go ahead.
That moment, what that moment is supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is she pregnant in the Storm series?
She's pregnant with the powers of the cosmic beings. Like, that's about it.
Presumably, like, she could, that could have been where this was being driven. I have to wonder if those two moments were done by two different people.
No, same person.
Two different teams. Oh, yeah. Come on.
I mean, the okay, you're gonna mention the art. Go ahead, Sean.
I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say the only thing I liked in this issue, the only beats were between the two young mutants who were having their little love moment, their love connection. That was beautiful. All that with I think her name was Tempest and what's his name?
Ransom.
Ransom. All that was beautiful, very well drawn. Let me give credit where credit is due, because that was the best part of the book.
I think that was Cale.
I'm sorry?
I'm pretty sure that was Gale's stuff, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's where...
22 to 26.
Those were the best pages. Everything else, you could fuck off.
Well, and that actually pointed something out to me too. Whereas, like, if there's anything I can give this From the Ashes era, is that they are focusing a lot on Black mutants. Like every book pretty much has one. Even Wraith is important to the X-Force book. We're like, when has Wraith been important to X-Men? Never. So I was like, oh, that at least jumped out to me as like a positive to come out of this. You got Ransom, you got Tempest, you got what's her name, Bronze or Copper from Exceptional. You got Wraith. Like there is a character, Storm herself. Like they're around, and that is nice to see. But that's their only
Token Black. Token Black. Where the fuck are all the Black mutants that people love?
Sinks wasn't in NYX, but yeah.
Was. And where's Prodigy? Where are these people?
Prodigy was in the beginning of the book.
And there are more than just Black heroes. Let's get diversity of all kinds. And how about diversity where the stories don't suck? How about that kind of diversity?
You might be asking for a little too much there.
Pass. This is the comic I'm willing to come on here and say directly to you, dear listener, do not buy. Do not buy this. There is nothing here that you have to see. And if we don't buy this collectively, maybe we can tell Marvel we don't want this shit.
The one thing I also found confusing about this is like it was also an end to the Astonishing X-Men book, which is a Marvel Unlimited exclusive.
I saw that.
The Banshee and Siren bit. That's that.
Yeah.
That's tying into Astonishing.
The Vertical Scroll one of ones?
I think so.
Who knew, dude?
Sorry, guys. X-Men's gone down the toilet.
Just in time for the films.
He had a good run. Pass. Hard pass.
Even as somebody who's reading every book that is referenced in this, it feels like I could have just done with an issue of Tempest and Ransom going on a date at a Celebration of Mutants, and that would have been a good issue for me. I didn't need everything else, so this is a pass for me.
Yeah, pass. There's nothing here.
Comics with Dan says, Sean, mail me your copy and then come on my stream to talk about it. You know what?
It's a lot of work for Sean, actually. Well, you can put all the work on Sean for that one.
Free labor. I will join your stream if you invite me formally, but I wouldn't want to send this to anyone because, quite frankly, I have more respect for you than to force you to read this. And you guys know I never come on and talk disrespectfully about books because I don't like to do that. But this, I felt disrespected by this.
Well, Sean,
this is the worst thing this could have been.
Yep.
That's actually fair. That's fair.
100,000. I couldn't have said it any better. In my nightmares, this is what this comic was. I was telling people, yeah, this is going to be the way forward. They're going to, look back respectfully and kind of chart the path. No, not at all. They said, what can we do to get $8 out of the people who are loyal to X-Men without actually doing anything?
And it also does not set a clear path for where these books are going.
3K. Fuck that. That's racist too. 3 fucking K. How did that get off the ground?
It's like the third Dark Knight book again. At least, Sean, at least positives here. You have a new mouse pad. You have a new coaster. You have some wrapping paper for the next gift you give.
That just means you have to. That just means you have to keep looking at it. Like,
I'm gonna give it to Marco so we can do one of those fucking arts and crafts things he's always doing, where he cuts comics up.
Is serial killer shit?
I have a plan to do that with the Vigil and just make it like that's it. It's dead, dude. It's dead.
Oh my god! Come on, chat. Let me see right now those poll results because I want to see how bad it is. 50% didn't buy or read. 30% pass. That's already 80%. Okay. 16% pull. Pick of the week is 3%. Who the fuck is the nutcase who said this? Who said, this comic? Oh shit! Marvel cooked with this. Who did that?
Must have been a huge Dazzler fan, which surprisingly isn't me.
Well, what did she even do here?
Those lyrics suck too.
Okay,
Misclick.
I
It was
have
a
an
misclick.
issue with Marco. You're the music guy. Tell me if I'm wrong on this.
Yeah.
I have an issue with music in comics.
I-
It does not compute to me. I don't think it translates well.
You have to like build your own rhythm, and it's hard to communicate what rhythm you're intending.
No, that's where the half white side just wins. I got none.
I just opened up a page. If you need to escape, it's just a hop away from a gate. We spoke in secret code. We bedazzled and glowed. Like,
When
dude,
you're
like,
saying that, it sounds like you're Etrigan, not that it's music. You know what I mean?
sure, yeah, poetry works fire, but not this stuff, man. You can't do the music, and it doesn't work the same.
Entertain me with the $2. Thank you, dude. Sean, be honest. Are you Storm's possible baby daddy? Listen, bro. Listen. I'm not going to explain this any further, okay? But the other day, I received a text that said it was on my birthday. And again, do not ask me the context. It was on my birthday. It was from a number I didn't recognize. It said, happy birthday. 34 is a big age. And I said, I had no idea who this was. I said, I'm 35, but thank you. Don't get it wrong. Now, the next day, that same number sent me a text and said, I am having a baby and I want you to be a part of the child's life. And I said, whoa! I said, whoa! I said, wait a moment. Whoa! We need to clear this up right away. Who the fuck are you and who do you think I am? Because I ain't nobody's baby daddy. Not even Storm's baby daddy. Although I'd like to be.
Wait, that's all we got of the story?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, after the show, I need more context there.
I'll tell you guys.
I was going to say, is this why you're a little heated today?
I'm not heated. I hated that comic. I was heated yesterday, and I said I need to bottle this so I could bring it.
I promise you, Sean feels worse about this comic than potentially being the real baby daddy of some mystery text messenger.
I'd be happy to raise a kid. I would be miserable if I had to read any more of this bullshit. I love kids. I hate comics like this. Whew. Woosah. Rami Darwish with the $5 said, in the last year, what has really happened with the X-Men? Not even to mention this book. Also wishing everyone a happy 4th of July. Thank you for the well wishes. I'm not feeling very tremendous about this country of ours. But in the last year, what has happened? Quite frankly, not a lot. Every X-Men book that I'm reading feels like it is on a hamster wheel in the sense that it's going nowhere. It's just spinning.
They're all very siloed. This issue is the only real kind of connecting sinew for X-Men as a whole, and it didn't hit.
We got that one cool Gambit story.
Oh, I just caught up on Uncanny. I think Uncanny's great.
Well,
Damn.
Did you guys reviewed the last issue last week, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. I didn't listen to the episode. I wasn't caught up by then.
Rude.
Jesse says this should. Hey, what's up, Jesse? Good to see you, dude. This should be the most anti-ice book out there, but instead it's look at my cute pin. LOL. SMH. Completely agree. Could have said something.
Yeah.
could have.
Leave it to a
Imagine thinking
Canadian
about
to say more things in one issue of Captain America than the entirety of the X-Men line.
Wish they gave out those pins with this purchase. That'd have been neat.
For real.
Would have
Hey,
been worth
speaking of which, look at these. DC hooked it up.
Whoa!
Wait, you got
what?
more?
Stewart. Yeah, I got my John Stewart card. My
That doesn't even
the
look
Flash.
Wait, put up the Jon Stewart one.
Wait, those
Yeah.
are new?
That's not the guy
I
from
guess.
the Daily Show. Who is that?
That's funny.
Yeah, thanks, Cale.
Oh,
Oh, I love it. I love it.
took me a second.
I just went and asked about those at my shop, and they said that promo had been done for weeks.
When I see, for me, it depends on who's behind the counter. Because some people are just, they don't give a fuck about it, and others are nice. And the woman that I had this week, I didn't even bring it up, actually. She just threw them in there. But when I asked 2 weeks ago, I was told, "Oh, that's been over, and we
Yeah.
haven't had any in
Must be a fan
forever."
of the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she knew who you were. She's like,
Dying for
that's the
that
sheriff.
flash.
Bring up the good stuff.
Treat him good. Damn, that's one thing my LCS don't do, Sean. I'll give you that.
They don't treat you good.
Not like that.
Yeah, pull up your copy of fucking ASM again. We know that.
Bro, but look at all of the leftover bags and boards that I get just because I give away my comics.
For comics, you're gonna give away. Matter of fact, you should give away those bags and boards to moi.
Yeah.
I could also use those, Marco, if you're
Oh.
Well,
if you want to send them over to Cale's way and pay $100 for that shipping, go right ahead.
Marco's good for it.
Oh, well.
Dan Trudeau, Sean, have you ever not read X-Men books in all your time as a comic book reader? No, this will be the first and only time that I'm not reading X-Men. I did not even drop X-Men during the Matthew Rosenberg run, which I actually enjoyed a lot more than this bullshit.
Wow, this is the superior Spider-Man of X-Men for you.
No, because Superior Spider-Man, I didn't judge it by quality. I judged it stupidly by assuming it would be bad because of what was going to happen, which was wrong of me. I have spent a year of my time and money with these X books, and I have decided of clear mind that I will not buy this anymore because I'm contributing to the problem of these books sucking dick. I can't. Dex Baker Dex with the $5. Thank you so much. 1, Sean buried X-Men deeper than Cena buried Punk. 2, congrats on the birthday of the potential mutual child.
Mutual. How does that work?
I hope he meant mutant, but
mutual.
I ain't got a mutant or a mutual child.
I don't think it's mutual.
Yeah.
No?
Unless Dex sent that text.
I hope not. Oh man. And then Hayden's hideout with the $5. Thanks, Hayden. Good to see you, brother. Pick of the week, Captain America #1. I was locked in as soon as I saw the first panel. Gooner pick of the week, ASM #7, Lee Bermejo cover.
That's the one I put up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Hope you got it, bud.
Beautiful cover. Beautiful cover. So many comments. Thank you guys for being engaged with. Look at who's here. James Abel, dude. I'm so glad to see you. James Abel said, I do think they hint at who the father might be in Avengers 28. Okay, well, James, I didn't read that, so did it look like me? Did they draw me into the book?
It says you got your father's teeth, right? Didn't they say that in this?
Yeah, you got the fangs.
Fangs.
Fangs. Who could it be?
has fangs?
Oh, Blade.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Damn, yo, you're Blade, bro?
Honestly,
Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill, Marco.
I just heard the Blood Rave music in my head when you said that.
Oh man, entertain me. I'm dropping all of them, bro. Even the White Queen, Storm, they're all cooked. All cooked. All right, let's move forward and talk about a different book with a different mutant on it. Hopefully, a better book. Ultimate Wolverine #7. This is written by Chris Condon with art by Alessandro Capuccio, colors by Brian Valenza, letters by Corey Pettit. Wolverine was rescued and saved by a combination of the Resistance group, which is Sabretooth and Kitty and all those people, and Legion. And so he's back to his old self at the beginning of this issue, and he's trying to sort of collect his bearings and plan alongside the Resistance as far as what they're going to do to strike back against Colossus and Magic and the evil cohort. Meanwhile, Magic takes a trip to hell with a scientist to sort of force her to determine a way to help them destroy the opposition. Cale, what'd you think of Ultimate Wolverine?
Well, it was a hell of a lot better than the Hellfire Vigil. But this still felt like a regular old Wolverine book. Like there's very little here except that Colossus and Magic are bad guys that separates it from mainline. It's just like Logan is this tortured soul who killed a bunch of people before, and he was this animalistic killer, and wow, he's got to reflect on all the bad things he did, and now he's got to go make his sins right by going on missions to help free Eurasia or whatever. Okay, all right. It just like there's not a lot of different flavored meat on this bone.
I'm kind of with you, Cal. I think it's a good comic, and I think on the whole I liked it, but it doesn't feel like an ultimate book. It's the least ultimate-y of the ultimate books. Like, especially with a character like Wolverine. Like, how many versions of Wolverine do we have? Just in general, like this could be an arc of Claremont's run. Like, there are so many alternate universe X-Men stories we've had. This doesn't feel like anything special. I think it's an interesting enough story. I like the idea of Wolverine as the Winter Soldier, but as we're getting into the story, I realize like, oh, well, that's not much different than Wolverine actually. Wolverine being controlled by the government and he loses his memory. That's just Wolverine. That's also
that's
the Winter
just
Soldier.
Weapon X. Yeah,
exactly. So it's not much different. But at the same time, I think it does a pretty good job at what it does. You know, I'm not going to knock it for that. I see why Ultimate X-Men exists. You know, like that's wildly different, and that I think, you know, for what some people may say about it, I think it does a better job at, you know, being different enough to justify it being a wholly different, you know, Ultimate thing. Where this just feels like it could be any other Wolverine book. This could have been Wolverine issue 462, and I'd be like, yeah, sure. But I enjoyed it, and I don't think it's a bad issue. I honestly, I preferred, like, as much as I like the Cappuccio art, you know, I loved him on Moon Knight. I think I preferred the artist that was on the previous arc. I could bring it up, but that felt a little more different, you know, where like, it's like, okay, that at least visually feels different and feels like it justifies the ultimate, framing to it. But yeah, this was fine.
I'm gonna echo most of what you guys said. I think the biggest piece of this is for somebody who is reading this month to month and has continued on the series. I can imagine that they're having fun. You know, I think because of how functional a story this is, that they're having a good time. But it's one of those. It was one of those books that I feel like if this had to take up a slot in my pull list, this wouldn't be there because I feel like I've read other stuff associated to it or like it. The thing that was running in my mind was I was trying to remember who is a lieutenant here for the grander story. Because that was the part that I was like, okay, yes, the initial premise of Wolverine being the Winter Soldier and being able to, I guess, transform into, you know, the Wolverine, fine, cool as a concept, but how does that now lead us into the next phase? We're only 6 months away. This obviously has to address it as some of the other books do. So now my mind is just racing about that kind of stuff. Why is that relevant to that story?
The lieutenants here are Magic and Colossus, I believe. I don't know if Omega Red is a lieutenant of the Maker, but I'm very confident that those other two are.
He's the third head of that triumvirate. He's been with them in any kind of background scene, yeah.
Okay.
But also, like, Omega Red, like, the design is the exact same. Like, this is not an Ultimate Omega Red. It's Omega Red.
I mean, Magic just got spikes on her shoulders.
Which, that's Darkchild. Like,
I think what you just said is true for every single person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at.
The book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, the only difference is Kitty has a ponytail now. She's in sports mode.
Gambit's got an eye patch.
Oh, no.
I enjoy this series generally. I've been high on it. This issue rubbed me the wrong way. It opens with a Wolverine who is thoughtful and, considering his past, and he's got all this pain with him and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's fine, but like after 6 issues, do we really feel like these moments are earned by the book in any way? I don't feel like he went through anything. Like, we have not spent enough time with this character for me to really feel anything for him outside of the fact that I already know who Wolverine is. If you were just right now introduced to all these characters for the first time ever, this book would be the biggest flop because they've done nothing to get you to care about Wolverine. Wow, he was the Winter Soldier, this crazy badass who killed people at will. And yeah, he was being mind controlled. That sucks, but we barely spend any time with that. If you could think about like when they did it with Bucky in mainline, not only was that a tremendous story, but you know that Bucky is Cap's best friend from all these years ago, and there's this deep connection. This only worked, and that's again decades of comic book history. This is issue 7.
Well, not only decades of comic book history, but in the Winter Soldier epic, Brubaker does an incredible job of seeding the stuff that is going on in Cap's life that makes him think about Bucky and revitalizes Bucky in our minds.
Yeah.
We don't get any of that here.
This book only works because we've read Wolverine before.
And that is to me, that's a sin of...
It's a crutch, yeah.
I don't mind the books feeling similar to mainline counterparts. I mind them trying to utilize our knowledge of mainline to skirt around doing actual like character work. You cannot skip that step.
What about this makes Logan the Winter Soldier other than he's an operative of presumably Russia?
Well, other than you're being told that he's the Winter Soldier.
And he's got that cool MCU mask.
Sure.
I was also, I don't know how this struck you guys, but I felt like the Wolverine Sabretooth conflict was just manufactured.
A little, yeah.
Wolverine is all mad mad in a way where like he's ready to fight this guy for real because Sabretooth didn't kill him whenever Wolverine was captured and taken and stuff. And Sabretooth is like, hey, dude, first of all, I couldn't get to you. And second of all, I just saved you.
Yep.
And Wolverine's like, that's like, come on, man. It's lame.
Make it ultimate by having some romantic tension there. There we go. That'll do it.
There we go.
Honestly,
right?
I thought that's where they were gonna go for a second.
You know what? I like that a lot, actually.
Do it. Wolverine's been around for so long. We saw what that apartment on the moon was like. We saw the doors there. He's swinging around all over the place.
Or he's been the Winter Soldier. He's so like hurt and guilty about that stuff. He needs somebody to help him carry that guilt with him, alongside him, step by step. You know what? And slowly you fall in love.
You want a Wolverine that needs a
needs.
hug, Marco.
That's it, dude. He's a Wolverine. He's scary, but really he's cuddly.
Who did that? You guys know there's a Wolverine that's married to Hercules, right?
Yeah, it's Extreme X-Men.
What?
Is that?
Yeah, it was.
What?
I believe. Yeah, it's an alternate universe Wolverine and an alternate universe Hercules. It was like an Exiles version of Extreme X-Men. Was it Greg Pak that did it? Yeah, they're happily married.
Yeah, Greg Pak, Extreme X-Men number 10.
Yep. MX Mothman. Old Man Yowie fixes everything. Sure.
Also, can we please do away with these fucking data pages, these text messages?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't read it.
Conversations. Like, what the... Unfortunately, I read it, and it starts with, yo, you up? That's all you need to know.
Are we talking about the pages or the text you got?
The pages. It's bad.
Oh yeah, CW Gordon says the way he got his code name kind of felt forced as well. Yeah, it was very much there it is, saw it, got it.
Are Wolverines even native to Eurasia?
Imagine they're like just in Australia.
For
Yeah.
anyone who's ever watched CinemaSins, he dings a movie whenever they say the title of the movie in the movie. That was definitely a CinemaSins moment. Like, oh yeah, you're the Wolverine.
Oh, it's almost like you should be, I don't know, like the ultimate Wolverine.
Yeah. Not only are you a Wolverine. Oh God. I'm somehow miraculously I'm a pull. Because I do enjoy this series, and I thought it was really cool the way Magic dragged that woman through hell. That was fucked up. But that's all I liked.
Magic being cool is enough to be a pull for most books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pass.
Yeah, pass for me too.
And through no fault of the creative team, they do a good job. I'm just not interested.
I would say that's a fault of the creative team. But
Well,
it's a pass for me too. I read this was 7, right? I read 6 as well because I wasn't caught up. 6 was a pull. This was a pass. So yeah, I don't know. This book's kind of been real hit or miss for me.
Yeah. Cale, did you passed, right?
Pass.
Okay. All right. Cool. Now let's see what the audience has to say. I know that the listeners are often very, very positive on Ultimate Wolverine. 45% of you say pull, 38% didn't buy or read, 9% pick of the week, and 7% pass. So, largely, well, not largely favorable, but not as favorable as typical for this one.
Still a pretty even split, but
Yeah.
not by a lot.
Barlord says the Ultimate books I've been reading don't feel like they're moving toward any kind of endgame, and that makes me think there will either be a volume 2 not long from now, or they'll just keep going. We talked about this on the show last week, but like, does this book feel like it's 6 issues away from ending? No.
nah, bro. Or it feels like it's 3 issues away from ending, and they're gonna have to really stretch some shit out.
Doesn't even feel like it's started.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, like we are still in the cold open. Really, he just got called Wolverine 7 issues in.
Yeah, 7 issues in, and we barely know this guy.
7 issues in, and one of those issues we spent watching a bear and a wolf fight. Like,
yep.
Are we talking about the Wolverine Sabretooth conflict here? Oh, you're talking about that one issue. Got it.
Oh man. Yeah, so not great. But we move forward and get into the DC block of things. We got over 100 of you rocking with us on a Thursday night. Love to see it. Make sure you hit the like button if you're enjoying what we're doing. Absolute Green Lantern number 4 is the first of 2 DC books that we're going to be talking about tonight. Al Ewing on the words, Janoy Lindsay on the art and colors, and the letters by Lucas Gattoni. And this issue is more of what we have been getting in this space of the conflict between Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Sojourner, and also the Abin Sur of it all, which are 2 timelines, or not timelines, but the Abin Sur stuff takes place in the recent past, while the stuff with Sojourner versus Hal that's sort of our present, I guess. Mysteries abound, but I do think this issue gives us answers and sort of brings the series to it's prepared for its next phase from this point forward. Tyler, how do you feel about issue 4 of Absolute Green Lantern?
So I think historically, I have been the most warm to this book. In the 4 issues we talked about, and here's how I feel about this book. I like this book. I'm enjoying it. I don't know what the fuck it is. I like it at its face value. It seems to be doing simultaneously a whole lot and a whole lot of nothing. This is one of those books where like I'm strapped in. Send me down the roller coaster, and I'm along for the ride. I trust Al Ewing enough. I'm not loving it because I don't really know what it is, but there's little glimpses here and there of stuff that's like, oh, okay. Like the little cliffhanger we get here with Hector Hammond, spoiler. That was enough to get me to go, okay, I'll see what Al has to do there. It looks like what's her face shows up in here, Star Sapphire as well. Huh, okay. Tomar Ray shows up. Huh. Okay. Even like isn't that Obsidian, the other guy at the bar with Hal and Sojourner? They call him Ted, and he was part of Alan Scott's bar. He's like Alan Scott's son, so that's Obsidian. And like they're name dropping, like Kyle gets name dropped here.
Yeah,
like
Todd, you're right.
We're all here, you know. So it's intriguing. I don't love the book, but it's an intriguing experiment that I trust Al enough to see what he's got cooking up here.
This is the warmest I've been on this series, this issue, because I think to what Tyler's saying, it's adding a bit more mystery. I figured that the rest of these townspeople are not dead. Now this feels like it's turning into like an abduction story, and we're here to save them from an alien abduction, which I think that framing is helping me a bit more. I like that as a framing device a bit more. And this anomaly part where the big thing falls from the sky, we're finally seeing, we're finally getting to that point and that moment. And so I'm like, okay, now is where the story is going to kickstart. This has been preamble, and I don't know that I've loved the preamble, but I can potentially see that the mystery developing, and maybe that's the part that's going to start to be more interesting to me. I don't care about the Black Hand stuff still. It feels just a little corny. Seeing the big fight and Hal get roided out wasn't necessarily entertaining. I do care about Joe, and that's what's keeping me going right now, is that I care about Joe and what she's going through, and not the fight, but what she'll have to potentially discover if she goes further down this rabbit hole.
Why do you care about Joe?
I was going to ask the exact same question.
I care more about what she will discover than like who she is as a person. She is if only the centerpiece of this story, not because of who she is, but because that's the plot, and I'll take that.
I feel like this book did more to make Jon Stewart more of a protagonist in the issues that he was in, and like there's a lot more Hal in this. He's not the protagonist; he's kind of the antagonist here. But yeah, I'm kind of with Cale and Sean, where it's like I like Sojourner, I like Joe, but it's like an Ultimate Wolverine thing. I like her in the main comics, and that's bringing that in for me. I don't know if we know enough about her here. She's kind of been second fiddle to everyone else.
Yeah, I like what she does to Abensur to get the power, right? I thought that was, ballsy as hell. That's a Hal Jordan Green Lantern move. I think that rules. Yeah, I think I'm with you guys. That spread of, her getting the power, and then like we see the little glimpses of everything. I don't know, that happens, I guess, in the universe, Tomari and the ring change. And then my guess is that's like Sinestro's eye there at the bottom. That rules. I was like, okay, finally, something's cooking. And then I got to the end, with Hector Hammond. I'm like, all right, let's go. And I think even the Abensur ship crashing down, I think that is supposed to be sort of reminiscent of Post City, when Hal Jordan, I guess canonically this would be the thing that gets him infected with the parallax and makes him, turn evil. It's just there's just not a lot of meat on this bone. And I, by the end of it, I went, okay, I'll keep going. But I'm still like, I could drop this at any second. It wouldn't make a difference to me.
It's weird because I've enjoyed all 4 issues, and I enjoyed this one. And I think there are interesting things being cooked up. I feel like Al Ewing is poised to do some stuff that's going to blow our minds in issues from now. My mind hasn't been blown yet. And it's not even like it's not character work that's doing it for me. It's not like incredibly hard-hitting dialogue that's doing it for me. It's more of a combination of the mystery aspect of it, and quite frankly, the fact that Abensor looks cool as fuck, and I really want to know where that's gonna go. Because the biggest well, not the biggest difference, but one of the biggest differences from Green Lantern lore is that Abensor, he's the catalyst for how Hal gets the powers, but in this, he's actually a part of the book for the time being. And so I love that fact. And I agree with what Cale had said earlier about the way that Joe sort of she's able to like touch through Abensor and gets the powers because she touches him while her ring is on, her wedding ring. And it kind of for me was like throwing away the past to get the future. That's kind of how I thought of it. Not that she lost her ring, but so I love that. But at some point we're gonna need to sort of focus on Joe and spotlight her as a human being, not just what she's doing, but who she is.
She penetrated Abensor, like she like went into him and stole this power seemingly with the yellow ring. I that took me out for a second because it confused me, and I was like, I don't buy that.
We know the gold penetrates the green.
It's the same principle that they were going to use the gold bullets for.
It's alchemy,
Right.
not really cosmic stuff.
But the I guess for in my mind, it's like those are just conflicting forces, so it would not combine. It would not grant her this power. It would not give her this ring because they are in conflict. They do not
Well,
unify.
I think that's why she's an anomaly.
Yeah,
She's more than whatever the yellow and the gold represents.
he flips out and just starts screaming that she's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't supposed to happen. So I think that's just sort of the question that we're supposed to be asking. Whether it'll work is, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it surprised him because he talks like a computer program. That's this whole thing. Like these people aren't dead. The people of Evergreen, it's called, right? They're data. They're being churned into the software that is Abensur and Oa to be judged on whether or not they will become Green Lanterns, it seems. That's why you have every Green Lantern just lives in this town, apparently.
Evergreen.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this will be, even the giant logo lands on the whole town.
Yeah.
Presumably they will all become Green Lanterns in a way, unless Joe's now screwed that up. And is almost a virus to the planned computer that is the Green Lantern Corps. Or it's not even a Green Lantern Corps, it's just Oa.
Think I could be misremembering this. It's been a very long time. I think in Green Lantern Rebirth, there's a part of it where one of the lanterns like explains how the willpower thing works, and it's like it takes not only the will from the wearer, but from I guess the general, populace or whatever. So there could be something to that of like if Abin Sur has like taken them in as data, as you say, it won't necessarily be that they're all going to be Green Lanterns all of a sudden, but they'll make up the energy and the battery.
That I think that's kind of where I came down on it as far as my thinking of what we were going to be getting. I don't think it's concrete either way, but I felt more like that they're not necessarily all going to become Green Lanterns, but they will all serve the greater good, so to speak. And also I really I don't know how other people feel, but I really want to lay this out. I think the art in this book is good. And I think it's getting a bad rap, and I just don't see it. I don't see what everybody else is seeing.
I agree with you. I think it's just wildly different. Like, look at I brought up the page where a naked Abensur / Majin Buu is kind of lording over Joe, and that glow, but the blues in the background with Hal and Ted in the bar or diner or whatever it is. Like, I think it looks really good. I think that there are some pages, I think, like the desert pages, where it's like, okay, everything's a little sparse in terms of what's being taken up on the page. But I do think it's wildly different. You know, I complain about Ultimate Wolverine not feeling ultimate enough or different enough. This feels wildly different. I don't see this artist doing Green Lantern in the main DC universe, and that's why I like this art for this book.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Pull.
Yeah, pull.
Bull.
Yeah, pull. I wonder how much we fluctuated on this book. I know I've gone up and down.
As
like
having just watched 6 reviews yesterday of us, Sean knows what I'm talking about, but seeing our opinions change for a particular series within 6 issues chronologically is interesting. I would love to do it for Absolute Green Lantern, because I think we've all started in weird places for this book.
I feel like I've been pretty consistent. This is the highest I've been on this book. Is this issue?
Same, I think.
Yeah, this is my favorite issue of the series too. Yep.
Does this now go above Absolute Flash for you, Sean?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Not because I'm not even enjoying that one. I just am more interested in this.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesse says that is a tight little butt. 10 out of 10 art. Can't argue with that.
Whose butt?
Majin Buu, Majin Green, whatever.
Oh, the boob butt?
Yeah.
That's what you like, Jesse? 46% of you say pull. 25% didn't buy or read. Pick of the week. 23% and pass is 4%.
Right?
It's pretty positive.
Good.
I can see that.
Yeah.
69% of you, it's positive.
Nice. That Majin Buu butt.
For that
There you
little
go. Shout out to Matt Cosmo with the $20 super chat. Coming up on 1 year since I found y'all's channel. The streams got me through one of the weirdest and most anxious periods of my life, so I just wanted to genuinely say thank you for all the work y'all do. Thank you, brother, for tuning in as often as you do and for being part of this community.
Even though you have the 0R icon, I'll let it slide. That's become a little bit of PTSD on the show, but thank you, Matt.
Matt, you're awesome, dude. Thank you so much. You could just as easily tell us that without any monetary involvement. It would mean the same. Thank you so much. And I'm really, really glad that we could help you through whatever you've been going through. Sometimes you need a helping hand, and the person who's helping you doesn't always even know that they are helping you. So from wherever you are, where we are here, it's felt, and I'm really glad that we can be a part of your life in a positive way. So thank you for sharing that message.
And honestly, the inverse is true too. Like, seeing people comment, having regular people in here, that's gotten us through some shit, So thank you for being active in the community, for sure.
Absolutely. We're going to end things review-wise, scheduled reviews anyways, with Resurrection Man Quantum Karma #4. Now, this was one of 2 books that we plucked from the poll because a couple of books that we intended to review were actually delayed. So our make good was to add this as well as Ultimate Wolverine to give you guys both of those books. Now, you all voted for Ultimate Wolverine more so. That's all right. We've got a whole new poll up right now. And this one I'm very excited about because I really, really wanted to add almost every one of these to the show and just could not do that. So, The Unchosen, number one, that's a really exciting book. That's going to be dropping next week. I can't remember the creative team. I don't remember why I was excited about it, but I was. Um, Anyway, it looked really good. So that's one of your options. You can also vote for the Marvel swimsuit special. You guys know that I was desperate to get this on the show, just couldn't find the space.
Something tells me the viewers might find the space for this one.
We shall
Ooh.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you looked at those numbers yet?
Well, I'm just saying, once it hits 2 a.m. and the Gooners start logging on, that's when that percentage is gonna start going higher.
And let me just point this out about that book too. It's mutual gooning in the sense that like it's gooning for guys and girls. Because on this cover, there are some there's all kinds of body. You got it's a lot of good looking people drawn by the Dodsons.
See, that's interesting to me. CW Gordon says Hayden may leave if swimsuit doesn't win.
We need Hayden. We can't lose him. James Abel says swimsuit special for the win. I agree, brother. I will be reading it regardless of what the hell you guys say. But Fantastic Four First Steps number 1 also on there, and Transformers 22 also on there, which is currently winning. And that's not a surprise given all the Transformers hoopla of late. But I can't wait to see how you guys vote. Make sure you vote. It's under the post tab on our YouTube channel, so get your vote on. Now, let's talk about Resurrection Man Quantum Karma number 4. This is written by Ram V. Butch Geis, who we recently lost, provides the first page, which he does for every issue of this series. I love the fact that we got that, and these are the last pages, unfortunately, that we'll be getting from the legend. Regular series artist is Anand RK, Mike Spicer on the colors, and Aditya Bidikar on the letters. This issue is titled My Shadow Shedding Skin, which is lyrics from the Tool song 46 and 2. If you understand the song, then this issue personally makes a lot more sense, at least in terms of the conflict that we are watching unfold. This series has largely been about Resurrection Man sort of learning the absolute possibilities of his powers now that he has essentially become a time master, in the sense that because he died from old age, now he just can't die from like he'll always come back from that. So this issue reveals that the guy he's been talking to in Samsara the whole time has been him. And the greatest war, this isn't literally said, but you can extrapolate. And again, this is what the song is about. The greatest war is the war within. And that's what I got out of this issue. Cale, I know you've enjoyed this. How did you feel about this issue?
So I read 3 and 4 together. And I think I actually agree with Carter here. My feelings on this are mixed because I think I enjoyed 3 a lot more. But I'm still very into this. The art is like it's just off of weird. And I think it really fits because we get a couple of glimpses of like our regular superheroes in here, the Flash and then the Atom a little later earlier on. And I think there's a Green Lantern there. And they don't look right. And I love it when an artist makes that choice. because it sort of shows that, like, to the regular world, like, these people would be weird. Like, aside from, like, Resurrection Man, I lost myself.
Oh no.
We can still hear you though.
You're right here.
Sorry, my headphones came unplugged. Aside from Resurrection Man having these powers, he lives his life mostly as like a normal dude. Um, and then to have that sort of juxtaposed with himself, and then the oh, I can never say this thing's name, Gasha Dokuro,
Oh yeah.
like, everything around it is just, the art is weird, and it's so detailed, but it's scratchy and um loose. It's The art is really the show here. um I love, though, that the point of this story is that the keeper, I can't, the other Resurrection Man, the red cloaked Resurrection Man, is trying to make things right in an ultimate timeline, right? And forgive my generic words, for this that we've seen a million times. Um, but it shows a level of humanity within this villain that you assume is lost because of his cloak, because of his, his massive fortress outside of time or whatever. He is working to fix a primal mistake that will fix everything. But at the same time, our Resurrection Man, Mitch, is just Mitch. His big mistake was that he lied to the lady he loved. And that is so human. And Rom, just, man, he's so good at nailing those qualities in characters.
And I like how the difference between the two is just how they died. Our Mitch died of old age, so he has, so time was what killed him. So he has power over time. The other Resurrection Man has power over time and space, and it's that little difference that lets him see in multiple dimensions, that makes him into this almost villainous character. When it really isn't much different than our Mitch, but something little twists him, and he becomes this completely different thing. And it is Mitch versus Mitch, really. Just one Mitch took a different direction at some point. And I like that. I read 2 through 4 for this, and boy, does my brain hurt. Yeah, my brain hurts, man. Once we got to the Samsara stuff, I'm like, I need to take a religious studies course because I feel like I'm missing out on stuff. This book, I really enjoy this book, but there are some times in this book where I feel like I might be a little too dumb. Like, if I was just a little smarter, I might enjoy this even more. Maybe I should read an actual book for once, God forbid. But I do really like this. The idea that, this Mitch that has control over time is looking at his whole timeline. And because he's being affected by the time and space Mitch, Resurrection Man, he's making adjustments to his own timeline that lead to the gathering of this DC's Cosmic Cube, and it being the kind of the MacGuffin for the story. I'm really interested in where this book is going. I think this is really interesting. I like even the Vandal Savage of it all. I love Vandal Savage as a character. And him being this just ever-present just force of nature that is persistent throughout Mitch's life. And it's funny because I read this and I read New History of the DC Universe. Nearby, I'm like, oh, I have all of Resurrection Man's history already. I didn't know he was ever Vandal Savage's brother until these 2 things popped up in the same year. I'm really enjoying this. I don't love it as much as I love New Gods, but I do like it a lot.
I definitely like this better than New Gods. I feel like this has more of a trajectory, a clear trajectory that I can follow. And this was so close to being my pick of the week. I like the questions as well that this poses of, what in the end matters more? Is it the saving of, is it this like utilitarian saving of as many people as much as you can for the sake of saving? Or is it, there will be eventual flaws, and it is these small moments that really matter? It almost felt like the train problem, like you save one person versus you save four or X number, right? Like it doesn't matter. And so what is it that you really have to value? But it's also, how do you put, he's trying to fix his guilt, and there's a moment here where it says that the samsara, Mitch is trying to fix his guilt through somebody, and that makes him suffer. But it is an acceptable suffering for the larger picture. But to him, it isn't, because that is his life. That is the sum total of his experience and moments, and irrespective of this other one. So I love that he's toying with these kinds of concepts to be able to put this together and create tension between our two characters who are ultimately trying to save something, but to different degrees. The thing that they're trying to save has different value and has different impact at different scales, but neither one is more or less than the other, seemingly. It's just how this samsara version is coming across. Love that kind of shit.
I was having a little bit of trouble with this series, like issue 2 and 3. I didn't adore, but this one really put all the pieces together in a way that allowed me to really, really love it. Similarly, almost my pick of the week as well. And I just love a conflict about a man against himself, because ultimately that is the most important conflict you will have in your life. Most of us will lose, um, but Resurrection Man has a lot more time than the rest of us, and it's the conflict with your shadow self. That's why the title of the issue is what it is. It's the conflict with your shadow self that takes place in his case over lives, right? And he still can't quite get it right, and his older self is looking back at the flaws of youth, you know, what he perceives as the flaws of youth, making choices that um in retrospect, it's like, wouldn't you just kill Vandal Savage? Look at all the damage that he's done. Does he really belong here? And it's like, you could say that because you're not me now. You're me, hundreds of years, whatever, later, with all this experience under your belt. You can make a perfect choice without having to weigh the consequences that you will deal with on an emotional level. Whereas our Mitch has to deal with that because it's his moment in time. And that's why he regrets, lying and stealing from this woman that he loves, even though the older version of himself is just like, oh, that was great. Like, now we got what we need. And he's like, no, man, that wasn't great. I hate what I did. And I think we've all been there. We've all been there. We've looked back on ourselves, judged ourselves for things we did at times where we had less knowledge, or at times where things were on the line. And you can never, to me, my opinion, you can never put yourself in someone else's shoes, even your own from the past.
And I think to that, right, it feels like the samsara version hasn't accepted that. They haven't accepted the mistake, and they accepted themselves for that mistake. And this version, who hasn't yet experienced that, who hasn't yet gone through the length of time, it doesn't matter, because I've accepted that really what I'm doing harm to are the people that I interact with, my circle of effect. I'm curious to see how, I was playing this out of my head, but if I also can't fucking pronounce this guy's name, Gashu whatever, um Gasha Dokuro, if he's the thing that ends his life, then what power does he gain from that thing? Because ultimately, he's a destructor of the thing, but does that mean that the power he gains is now providing life?
Creation,
right? And that plays into this samsara idea of like, in this flow of perpetual being, but there's this karma to it, right? The karma will have that opposite effect. And we're taking the destruction, and he's reading that destruction as I'm gonna die, but it feels like he's forgetting his own power.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
It's a classic Rom V dissection point. Is that is interesting. Anytime we talk about a Rom V book in here, one of us finds something where it's like, oh, hold on now.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm struggling more with New Gods than this. I feel like
Yeah.
New Gods is less metaphorical, which I
More
think I
straightforward.
would theoretically prefer. But something about that book is leaving me behind, whereas with this, it's like getting me more hooked.
I feel like New Gods is still only just getting started,
Yeah.
whereas this is almost over.
That's a good point. It's a mini. They're not. It's unfair to judge. That's true. He has to get to the point quicker.
Which we just got the New Gods on Earth in the last issue, which is the
Right.
new status quo for them. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, you're gonna like New Gods in 4 or 5 issues, Sean.
hope to.
This is
Into 14.
This is 5 issues, right? This is penultimate. Six?
Six.
Okay. 6. Okay. Cool. I'm about to say, damn, they gotta introduce. Oh, they're gonna introduce the human target. Fuck yeah, dude.
Okay, that came out of nowhere. I was like, wait, what?
I was hyped.
He's just
Like,
aura
oh,
farming
shit.
in the recliner.
First of all, I think that's the first. Oh, never mind. I was about to say that's the first in universe I've seen Human Target, but I just remember this is Black Label. This isn't even in universe. Black Label's the only place this guy exists anymore.
Even the Human Target TV show was essentially Black Label TV. It was its own little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a pull. Strong pull.
Right, strong pull.
Yeah. Strong.
3 would have been my pick of the week. In the same way, I think Cale liked 3 more than 4, but this is a strong pull for me as well.
Well, I'm gonna end the poll, and I already know we're gonna see. Yep, 47% didn't buy a read. I
Damn.
expected it would be about that much. 38% say pull. Pick of the week is 9%, and pass is 4%.
Yo, where's everybody, dude? These are the books.
To be honest, and not to the fault of the reader necessarily, this book's not for everybody. I think I could see a lot of people reading this just be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. And specifically because of, I think, Anand's art, super loosey goosey, very surrealist in moments. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But damn, if you're not doing some work to make this really hit for you.
I also agree with no concept, waiting for the trade. I think
That's
I
fair.
think a lot of people are going to go for that, and I think this will make a lot more sense, and it will you'll probably get a lot more out of it.
Yeah.
Absolute overthinker in the chat. Hey, dude, where you been? How's it going? It's good to see you.
Whoa.
What happened to you, bro? I would love to know. But he says it'd be pretty dope if he cameoed in Mainline and whooped up the Time Trapper. It'd be a bizarre, interesting team to have Superman and Resurrection Man working together.
Well, it's funny that the current Time Trapper is Doomsday, who has the same essentially power set that Resurrection Man has. Whatever kills him, he has immunity to the next time around. Doomsday's at least stacks. But yeah,
Right.
that's interesting to see how that's how the Time Trapper works.
A shout out to Nihilist Nico. Hi, pals. I just competed
Yeah.
in my first bodybuilding show and took home 2 first place medals for Classic Physique Novice and Open Class. Hell
Whoa.
yeah, dude.
Wow. We gotta hook you
Wow.
up with Paul. You guys can bench each other, maybe. I don't know.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, if you're not in Discord, we got a few people who lift weights.
Yeah, Paul does the strongman stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little different than bodybuilding, but either way, it's like complete control over your freaking body. I couldn't do that. I could barely walk down the steps properly.
Nihilist, congrats, dude. That is very awesome. It takes a lot of commitment to do that, and I don't think people necessarily know how much goes into to succeeding at bodybuilding. But wow, congratulations. That's incredible.
It's just as much of a mind thing as it is a body thing.
Yep. And more so, quite frankly. As with everything in life, where to join the Discord. Marco, can you please get a link in there
I
for
got you.
everybody?
Should be in the
And I just
description
went-
too.
Yeah. I'll link it just for ease. I also went to your channel, Nihilist. I love that you're saying comic nerd tries bodybuilding. Hell yeah, brother.
Whoa.
Love it.
Was there a character that made you do that? Something spark that? That's related?
Flex Mentallo.
Did you see like a Rob Liefeld cover and you're like, yeah, I could do that?
Yeah.
Should I? Go ahead.
He says it's all mine. The lifting's the easy part.
You about to ask if you should get into bodybuilding?
Hell fucking no. Oh, that is not for me. Not in any way, shape, or form. Should I go and watch Jurassic Park tonight?
So I saw it last week. I got into like one of those mystery screenings at my local place, and it turned out it was that. I thought it was the best one of the world movies.
Okay.
Do you want to have something to watch while you eat a lot of popcorn?
Yes.
Perfect movie for that.
Why don't you just get a bunch of popcorn?
Because then it's sad.
Why?
Well,
Because then,
I just prefer movie popcorn, quite frankly.
oh, Sean, I can give you the right ingredients to make movie popcorn at home. You can buy it all.
Oh.
Well, with all this money he's going to save on X-Men, he can afford to buy it all.
You can buy one of those Jiffy Pops and some what's it called? There's like a salt they use.
Jiffy Pop? What's Jiffy Pop?
No, you can get the swirly. There's a machine that you can have. I use it. It's a hand crank that goes on the stove that you make popcorn.
Yeah.
It's not Jiffy Pop. It's another name for it. And then you got to put the. I got you, Sean. But do you like Scarlett Johansson?
Am I alive? Is she a bunny? Does she, come on.
She's in that movie, and she's likable. There's one thing I don't give Scarlett Johansson. She's always likable in movies, I feel.
Oh, agree to disagree. I do not like Scarlett Johansson. Weird way to find out I'm dead on my birthday.
Thank you to Nihilist Nico, Pierce Miller, and Entertain Me, who all just joined the Discord. I'm shocked.
Entertain Me, just
that Entertain Me is just joining the Discord. But thank you, all the
brother. Where you been?
Absolute Overthinker said, "Would you be surprised if I said I overthought something?" No, I would not. But let me tell you something, dude. You were and are a fantastic contributor. Whatever you overthought, forget it. You're always welcome into the fold. And I hope that you continue to rock with us, man, because you're good people. Yes, Uncanny Suit. That's the right question. That's the right question. The people need the Winter Soldier's review of Jurassic World, says Matt Cosmo. All right. I mean, I'll go. I got nothing better to do. Nothing
Honestly,
better.
After podcast, movie watch, it's a pretty good time. It's a good cool down.
100%.
We got Superman next week, right?
Superman next week. Dude, I'm going to the movies like every week this month.
July's
how about you
nuts.
guys?
Yeah, July's nuts for me. Thankfully, I saw Jurassic World earlier because I was going to see it either way. So it at least cleared up a week for me.
I only go to the movies to watch stuff for the show. Everything else, not pay-per-view. Fucking, I'll watch it later over here. Nice dinner.
Yeah, he's watching Skinamax. He's making sure the cable box is set up correctly.
He's trying to figure out what's going on between the blurry, the snow on the screen.
Yeah,
dude, please.
Snow on the screen. Oh, that's what Sean was watching for sure.
You got that right. Oh my goodness gracious!
Sean trying to make up Gianna Michaels through the TV fuzz.
I mean, listen, that wouldn't have been on TV.
Well,
she was a star, but not on television, not on not on what was it called? HBO. What was it? HBO Zone, or whichever one it was. Where
See,
they
now
showed.
you're outgooning me, Sean.
Listen, bro, you got to do what you got to do. When you have premium cable and you're a kid, you do what you got to do.
This is where the 2-year age gap is showing, I think.
Listen, bro, we get on a palling around. I can tell you some stories. Um,
Who are your favorites? That's what the show is.
Just Sean's tier ranking. He's going to be ranking all the websites. Number 1, freeones.com.
Nah, bro. He's brand loyal. He brand loyal
to what?
to the hub, bro.
That's what you say, man.
Nah, the hub, that's overrated.
You Marco, you're playing them kid games, man. You gotta level up. You're gonna talk to me about that. You can't talk about some hub.
Bro,
hub.
I was downloading MP4 through LimeWire to put on a PSP. Like, come on, Marco. Jeez.
I feel bad for all the people who live in those states where, like,
it's banned.
In order to get on those what? You
got to use like a VPN.
No, you have to. Some of them are blocked. Some of the websites are actually blocked in certain states. But you have to put in your real ID in order to get on. Imagine that. Imagine wanting to goon so bad that you go to the hub and put your real life info, your government, to the hub.
Sean, I've done worse.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I've done worse.
What have you done?
Let's not talk about it. That's for a different show. We're on Pals Pulls right now. We're not on pulling our pal right now.
Wow.
Oh, whoa. Yo, follow me on the hub, bro.
What?
Marco's trying to get that Letterman.
No.
Marco's trying to get that Letterman jacket.
Wait, why would I want to read your comments under videos?
Marco, nice.
Decent.
Marco's doing timestamps.
My favorite part.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. It is definitely a Thursday night. Definitely. Oh, my goodness. Banksy Main says Batty Hub. I've never seen that. What is that?
Oh, yeah, that's one. That is one.
Shit. Okay.
Jesse, Cale looking for the eject button on this combo.
Look, I'm a married man. I get what I need.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So funny. All right.
I just hate how the discussion was happening as this cover for Resurrection Man's on the screen.
Yeah.
It's just 9 O faces. It's the Watchmen of orgasm faces right now.
Got that Tommy Lee Jones fucking Norman Osborn vibe to it.
He's busting his quantum karma right here.
Oh my goodness, dude. Marco creates innocent content like that guy who cleans the couch and delivers
that's Creamer. That guy's last name is Creamer. He was like a comedian, and he made a Pornhub where he just does normal things, but his name is Creamer, and he got enough views where he got the Letterman jacket as a comedian. Yeah.
Wow. What a success story.
Love it.
Could be you, Marco.
I could pay for this pizza a different way. No, you have to pay. You have to pay money, bitch.
It says like, oh yeah, we take Apple Pay.
There are 4 comments in a row that are just Marco and then something else. Look at the chat. Marco writing pull in the comments. Marco probably make more money on the hub than YouTube. Marco would criticize the lighting like coloring in a comic.
Yo, that's crazy. Nah, that's just too shiny. That's just too shiny. I don't like it.
Matter of fact, Marco, I actually do want to read your comments. So if you could just share your name so we could all follow you. I want to see the kind of comments you leave.
It's my tag, dude. It's my tag. It's there.
Oh my god, dude.
Just search the username Minuteman Marco, and you can find
Whoa, Minuteman, bro. Millisecond, bro.
At least you said millisecond, not millimeter. Like not millimeter. All right, we're good.
That's my alt.
Who goons the gooners?
Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. See, we did all that, and Atomic Hound just joined us. It's like when you're fucking around and your parents come and you gotta like button up.
You're playing GTA and then the loading screen comes on when your mom walks in the room.
Right.
It's like that loading screen had to show up. Jeez, Marco. Grand Theft Auto is a game that was on the PlayStation 2.
I'm aware.
Okay, all right.
Whoa, Banksy. More baby oil, please. Your skin tone is looking off. See, Banksy trying to play them Diddy games. We established last week that that's not what we do. That's done. No more Diddy games. All right. Let's get into the stack. You guys know I buy a lot of comics every week. And last week I talked to you about how it was too much. That was the second largest stack of the year. It was way, way over the top, and I have to rethink my life. So keep that in mind as you put your numbers in the chat. Whoever's closest without going over gets the vaunted no prize, or alternatively, you can win the code to any of the Marvel books that I bought this week. So feel free. I see numbers piling in already, which I love.
Pretty low. Well, almost.
Oh my god.
How was your LCS experience this week, Sean?
It was pretty chill, actually.
And you got a little extra out of it this week with those Justice League cards, at least.
I did. I was very grateful for those. Shout out to the woman that hooked me up with those. She's always very nice. She actually wished me a happy belated birthday last week when I went, so she's a good person. But yeah, my experience was very typical and frankly not even worth talking about. Good behavior this week. Good behavior at my LCS. They shaped up.
Great work, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I almost couldn't find a book this week because somebody was standing right in front of it and reading voraciously. But I had my lasso, so I just yanked them by the neck, get over here, type thing. And then I got my books. It was all good.
There it is. By the feet. By the feet. You gotta
have you tried excuse me.
That's what he said.
Like, excuse me, but move the fuck out the way, like
just sweep the leg next time.
Give him the old New York, excuse me.
Exactly.
But you gotta size them up too, right? Because it depends. Maybe it's somebody who's gonna be like, "Oh, my fault," and you like push through.
Look, bro, we all know our limits, right? And you always have to do the New York size up. I don't know if it's the New York size up, the black man size up, or just the man size up, but you have to do it. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. How was the smell of the LCS? Asks Uncanny Suit. You know what? People were on their best behavior. Deodorant was on. Showers were taken. Ass cracks were fully placed, behind the underwear and behind the jeans. So I didn't see any of that. So it was all good. No nasty smells. Entertain Me says, I wish we could have talked about the Sirens. Gotham City Sirens #1 came out this week. What Harley wanted on that video call.
There was booty on that in that book. That much I know. I was looking at the previews for Pal's previews, and there is full on booty cheeks in that.
Okay, but is she farting? Because
I mean, I don't think so. From the previews, at least.
So you mean to tell me that there was more ass in the Gotham City Sirens book than the fart comic?
Well, the fart comic's not about the ass. It's about what comes out of it.
I guess.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
I guess.
I am reading Gotham City Sirens probably tonight. You can expect me to talk about it in the next Palace previews whenever issue 2 comes out, which might be next week, actually. I think that might be like a weekly book.
It is.
Yeah.
For sure. Nihilist Nico says I drop like $200 every Wednesday. It's bad, dude. We need to do a pals pulls for or a stack for you. That's crazy.
Intervention for him. That's all that prize money from the bodybuilding is going straight to comics.
Now that you joined our Discord, you definitely got to post a picture of your stack, bro, on the pals pulls section of the Discord, please.
And your books.
Do I want to know? Yes, I do want to know. Entertain me. Jamzilla, are you asking because you want her to be farting? First
Great
of
question.
all, we don't put kinks on Front Street on this podcast, but actually, there's nothing about farting that I find interesting or certainly arousing. So no, I don't want that. All right, let's get into the numbers. Cale, take it away.
All right, let's see. We got Near first in 14 for the stack. Just beat Steve Canaris, who also said 14. Rami Darwish said 15. Patrick Zay said 15. Carter Mitchell said 19. Perennial winner James Jones said 16 for Sean Stack. MX Mothman said 21. Hayden said 12. Jamzilla said 8. Jesse said 8. Uncanny Suit said 17. Matt Cosmo said 18. Nihilist Nico said 23. Monster Design said 10. Aaron Rules said 69. Nice. CW Gordon said 14. Raccoon with Bev said 13 on the stack. Pierce Miller said 21. Ted H, coming for your throat, said 28. Entertain Me said 19. Raccoon with Bev said 17 for Marco. Hayden said 11 for Marco. And Samuel Summers said 12.
All right. Now, I did not have an opportunity to read any of these books, so I would just be showing you the covers that I got. Sisterhood, a Hyde Street story. Had to grab this. Marco, you didn't get this?
Fucked up. I got issue 7.
You
Bro.
fucking idiot.
Goddamn moron.
I forgot.
You pulled a Sean.
You did. I've done that countless times, so don't feel too bad.
Did you read that issue too?
Me?
Did you buy it twice?
No, I don't think I bought it twice.
Okay, well, there's that.
Because this would have been last week's then potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't come in last week.
That's right.
Right, I forgot about that. Fuck, I forgot.
Birds of Prey, 23. Gotham City Sirens, Unfit for Orbit, number 1. Grimm, number 23. This cover is awesome. JSA, number 9. I am just waiting for... wait, what's happening?
I was talking
Tyler
and
was
then
trying to say something.
I realized I was muted, so I was just miming at that point and figured I'd just mime my way through it.
Bring on the Bad Guys, Green Goblin, number 1.
You went for it, huh?
It's Green Goblin.
That's just a cover. That's
a
cover purchase for you.
To be honest, that's a big part of it, dude. Look at that fucking cover. You can see right here
The shooters.
Yes.
That's Bermejo as well, dude.
Which I agree with what you said before. I love when we can see the web shooter. Wolverines and Deadpools is number 1.
You got it.
You're a Ziggler head.
Yeah. Yep. I'm giving it a one issue, and we'll see. We'll take it from there. Immortal Thor, the finale of Immortal Thor, soon to be relaunched and redubbed The Mortal Thor. Can't wait for that. And Miles Morales, number 33.
Who got Latinos on the cover?
Yup. Latina Heat right there. She's the new Hulk, or a new, more like a new Doc Samson type character.
That's playing with the angry Latina stereotype, I feel.
Better she be Latina than black.
Oh, that is another stereotype, yeah.
That's my stack. 15.
Ooh, 15, yeah. That is Rami Darwish. By one post. James Jones, we're gonna have to take away your title. We have to make it perennial winner Rami Darwish.
Yeah, Rami's won a bunch.
Have you checked your apartment for cameras, Sean? Besides the one you're using right now?
I've never swept my apartment for cameras, but if there is one, let me just tell you something. Whatever you do, keep it off around 12:30 at midnight, all right?
Guys,
yeah, Rami, you know how to get at me if you want to claim any of these books, my friend. Just hit me up. Entertain Me says, a naked Harley calls Ivy, quote, "Hey babe, what you doing? What you doing, Ivy?" Janet. Ivy on top of Janet removing her clothes. Harley, can I video call to watch you and Janet do bumping beauties? What did I just read? Bumping beauties?
Yo,
That's
what
what
book is
happens
this?
in the book. Yeah. Gotham City Sirens.
Janet's the Janet from HR, right? From the Poison Ivy book. It's like her,
Yep.
yeah. Good book too. I caught up on that. Really fun book. Marco, you should be reading that. That's all green stuff.
Just might.
That's the one. That's the most Swamp Thing book out there right now.
If
It's like
that's what they're
Swamp
quoting.
Thing except hot.
Hey now, easy. Yo, Sean's looking real hard for this.
I'm sorry, bro.
We might have to switch to a palling around.
we lost.
Get that only pals going. Fucking hell.
Man, oh man, that is quite a comic.
Seen
I
this.
gotta go read that.
I'm seeing the sweat bullets right now.
Yeah, off my shiny head, as somebody pointed out earlier.
On the shoulders.
Wow.
I don't understand.
I missed it. I don't get it.
We don't need
He
to.
said-
We don't need to get into that.
He
One. We're
said
fine.
nah. He
We're
said
good.
nah. Yo, before we sign off, let me go through my books.
Yeah, please.
I gotta make a Marco
the six-
stack image now too.
Nah, you're
Yeah.
good. You're good. I don't get it all the time. The 6, 7. Godzilla versus Thor, though. I saw
these
somebody
people,
earlier was
yeah.
saying that this was hot fire, so I'm excited for
Dude,
this.
I love Cooter, and Cooter does the art in that. Aaron Cooter, real good stuff. I was looking at the previews.
9. I did manage to get this news from the Fallout finally, so I'm excited to read this when I can.
Joy.
The future is a friend of the show, Adam Freeman, has been promoting this book for a while. I find it in physical. This is the first issue. Issue 3 comes out next week. And for this issue, I didn't realize this was a thick ass book.
What's
And
the
actually-
what's the expletive? Is it thick?
If only.
Yeah.
With 2
Is
C's,
it
apparently.
Fuck.
Or
Do you
3
really-
C's.
Want to know what it is? Or
No, I know what it is. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. It's meant to be like a hacker-focused story and book. Yeah, curious to see what it's all about. Shout outs to Adam as well and the Rekka team. They're the ones publishing this. They actually sent us a few, the first 2 issues and the 3rd issue. So I'm gonna check it out after I read this one.
Sick.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's 11.
Ooh, somebody got that.
Someone did get that. Yeah, that was Hayden. Nailed you
Nailed
to
it.
the wall.
11 with a bullet, and Marco fucked off. Who knows where he's going?
He said, "Damn, I got called out."
It's just that gooner to gooner brainwave activity there.
Oh my god. Where did you go?
Not only did they hold on,
I thought he killed his dog for a second.
chill, dude.
Oh my god.
Glad to be back, guys.
The Rekka,
Whoa.
the Rekka sweater.
How the fuck did you get that?
Yeah,
Bro, you
for
don't
real.
You don't read the email? They send it to anybody. To well,
That's what happens when we share an email. It's marked as read for one of us. Nobody else sees it.
Well then, you can get it.
Well then, the fuck?
I told you to
made
get
this
me
statement.
one.
I made this statement in the chat.
I told you I wanted it.
You want a hacker hoodie?
Yeah, hacker backwards.
Is that like it?
Still
Almost
there.
looks like a Death Grips merch.
What's the quality of that bad boy?
It's pretty nice. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Warm. I would say get it a little bigger because I feel like it's going to shrink. I got a medium.
You know what? I gotta say something. Something is sitting on me,
Oh.
and I gotta get it off.
Oh.
A Latina?
I wish. How come?
Oh,
Or a
boy.
snow bunny. How come we got a hoodie from the Rekka book, but not near damn one thing from Ghost Machine?
Oof. Where's that Joe, bro?
I do want the I want the hat. I do want the Ghost Machine hat.
That's a nice
We'll
hat.
talk to them at Comic-Con this year. I'm sure they'll have some. We'll be like, hey guys,
Yeah, here's last year's merch.
I'll take it. Like when the losing team of the Super Bowl gets the merch gets sent to like a
Yeah.
like another country or something like that.
That's actually pretty sick.
Here's your Buffalo Bills merch.
I was promised a Junkyard Joe toy from Jeff Johns, and
Oh, we gotta talk to Jeff.
he didn't come correct on that.
We
I
gotta,
don't
that's-
think you're gonna get that one.
that Mezco one. The
hit 'em
thing
up.
sold out immediately, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What happened?
Hayden just sent a message in the Discord that said we're gonna need a most sus category for the Pallies this year.
I'm sure BJ from Comics Are Dope will gladly have the nominees ready. Most pause-worthy moment.
Yeah, and the Pause Award goes to
Sean sweeps the category.
Yeah.
He's like the Honora of that year's category.
J-Dub, Ghost Machine just followed me on TikTok. I got so hyped. That's cool for you, bro. I'm glad to hear that. It's very cool. Good people running their socials, good people all behind the scenes. I was just joking before. I wasn't serious about what I said. All right. We're going to get out of here. We will be back Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, live right here on this same old YouTube channel. If you're not listening to us on YouTube, then that means you already know how to find us wherever you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. And thank you for joining us. Enjoy your July 4th, whatever you plan on doing. Don't lose your face, eyes, fingers, toes to fireworks. And